Yes.
Look at that.
All right.
Could be better.
All right, guys, here we go.
Yeah, I think my favourite to play live is Irretrievable off the new album. It's just kind of cruisy the whole way through, and like, yeah, that's like the guitar lines in it. They're really fun to play, and yeah.
Yeah, sick.
Yeah, bro.
I reckon mine's probably Paranoid Letter, I think. It's bouncy, it's fun, it's a bit different. I get to use a chorus pedal, which is probably the only bit of flavour I put on my guitar in the whole set.
Cool. I like how we're all picking different ones.
Yeah.
I'll try not to steal yours.
There's actually been two choices so far.
Yeah, but no, I'll try not to steal yours because my favourite to play is Way Out. Yeah, I wasn't sure. But I just like how it starts because it's the first song we play. Simo's like doing that little guitar riff and then we all come in together. It's a good opener. Gets everyone moving.
I honestly forget that it's part of the record. The singles, I feel, are just like in a completely separate category.
Absolutely. It's been a while since we released it.
No.
You can't pick
one.
Sorry, you can't pick one that we've picked.
Huh?
You can't pick one that we've picked.
Oh, yeah, mine's Way Out.
That's a good choice, man.
Okay. We cut mine before you.
There's like the counter at the top as well. Like, Way Out.
It goes like 1-2.
Yeah, but Way Out. We've been playing it as the first song.
Yeah, it's a good opener. I feel like it's
Sick. Bouncing.
high energy.
I have 3 notes to play. Sick.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Maybe Aside Again. That one took ages.
Yeah, Aside Again, definitely we chopped around the most in the studio.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah, for sure.
But I feel like in the initial writing of it, it kind of came together pretty smoothly there.
Yeah.
Like.
No, because it was remember it was a whole bunch of different songs.
Oh, true. Yeah, because it was 2 separate songs that we kind of blended into one.
Yeah.
Was it not?
I think so.
We took the verse from a song that we.
I was thinking, wasn't that for
earlier?
In My Head? We put that verse from a different song,
that one as well,
an old B-side or something that we'd written ages ago.
Yeah.
And we liked the chorus of that. And we used the chorus for
the
bridge.
We took it, yeah. For the second verse where it like drops out in My Head.
Yeah.
We took that from another song. But
timing of it, yeah.
Hardest. I'm trying to think of the tracks.
Aside Again. Yeah, what are the songs?
They're all
we
pretty
wrote?
easy to write, I feel.
Perfect House, maybe?
Yeah. I feel like probably a more interesting take on this is that I feel like the only songs that really end up being like a general consensus from the band is like, yeah, we all love this one, are the ones that kind of come together smoothly and easily. So like, if it feels too overworked or too difficult to put together, it probably doesn't end up making the cut because it just feels a bit like you've overworked it or overpushed it. So I feel like all the ones that ended up on the record were pretty straightforward in that sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. We had about like 20-something songs that we'd written, and then we just like cut that down to
I feel like it's
the
more,
11.
It's like 30 or something.
Yeah.
35.
Yeah.
There's so many songs.
So probably the hardest ones to write were the ones that didn't make it.
Yeah. And we choose the ones that are easy to play live.
Yeah.
Take a step away, 'cause it's killing us. To tackle it this way, you know me.
Ones that almost didn't make it.
I think Split was a late addition.
Yeah, Split.
Yeah.
I think Someday. That's the big
True.
one. 'Cause
Split,
we
Someday, that's right.
Yeah.
I think Someday was the one that like we all
Yatesy.
liked, but we didn't think fit the record that much. Then Yatesy, like our manager from back in the day, kind of just told us he loved the song, and like we went back and listened to it, and we're like, "Fuck, we're idiots. This one's awesome."
Yeah. He was like, I feel like there's a glaring omission here in the track list, and I was like, good point. Because I always love that song as well, but I feel like we really struggled on this one to pick the track list. I feel like I think in the Don't Let Go era, the track listing was kind of like, we'll just pick the best songs, and it kind of ended up being relatively easy to choose. There was maybe 1 or 2 where we were like, I'm not sure if it should be on or not. But I feel like this one, because we had kind of come a bit further as songwriters and stuff and did a lot more songwriting together in the process, I feel like we kind of had a lot more buy-in with all of the tracks, and we kind of took them to a point where like they were fully fleshed songs as themselves, you know what I mean? Like as like a separate entity. And so I think it was probably harder to pick which ones ended up on it. So I think there's a lot that probably almost made it, or I remember we had like a little voting system as well of like picking from the tracks. We cut it down to like top 15 or 20, and then everyone put in votes for like their 10 favorite and stuff as well.
Yeah. So we're trying to like categorize them in, some songs have like a similar style or sound. Like if there's like these upbeat, energetic songs, and it's like those two might be better than this other slow one, but we want like a bit of range and depth in it as well.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Like picking different areas of the album.
I think as well, when you write that many songs as well, it gets to a point where you start to hit the same notes, like with like temperature of the song and all that kind of stuff. And so like there'd be a few where we looked at it and we were like, all right, this is kind of doing the same job in a record as what this song does, and this song just does it better. So like that other one wouldn't end up making it on. So, yeah, there's a lot basically.
And I'm in pain now, see it on my face, how I'm fading into grey.
That's an interesting one because I feel like not even I wasn't really listening to it. I feel like me personally, in the last few years, I like just haven't listened to music. Like it's actually been weird in the sense that like I just like haven't kind of really found something that like really gripped me in ages, and like I wasn't really hunting for music, and I just kind of I think I was focusing more on writing music rather than like getting inspired and listening to stuff, which only probably in the last like 6 months has really come back, where I've started listening to a lot of different artists and like gotten my head around like hunting for new music again. And like I don't know, I think it was good and bad for the album, because I think there's like a lot of stuff that was made more unique to Dear Seattle because I wasn't influenced by as much, but at the same time maybe it's like not as experimental or like as outside of the box as like it maybe could have been if I was kind of grabbing influence from all different places.
It's probably good like not to actively have a few bands that you're like trying to copy or trying to let influence you, but like just have everything that you've ever listened to on like the back burner. It's always like marinating in your mind, and then you can use that as like subtly influences your decisions that you make.
When you get to certain parts of the song, you're like, oh, this has this kind of vibe, like Silverchair vibe. So you kind of pull from that rather than
it just kind of happens naturally.
Yeah, you pull from the vibe more so than
that's it. You let it kind of like take its place and like let the song unfold how it does, and then you start to pick up the vibe as it's kind of being put together in real time.
Like if should we name bands that
well, I was going to
just,
say,
like,
having said that, it's
do
like bands
influence
that I've
us?
just like always listened to is just like Oasis and Blink and Rage Against the Machine. So it's like just some triangle of that somewhere in between.
Yeah, not a circle.
And I keep trying to find a simple way out.
I think it was like a blend of we had my SVT3. I forgot the cab. There was a cab already there, and then there was mixed with like Kemper, like amp modeling stuff, and I think I used like my Sans amp, and I think that was it.
Yeah, we had.
And the P-Bass, everything was P-Bass.
I think there was 3 signals we were taking.
Yeah, it was
just a
between
matter
DI,
of
SVT3, and Kemper.
Yeah.
What kind of bass do you have?
It was P-Bass, I already said that.
Oh, okay, so
I don't know.
Even Josh zoned out.
Electric bass.
Yeah.
oh shit, yeah, right, cool.
I felt we kind of did that across the whole record, really, in terms of having like the 3 signal kind of thing. It was like real amp, modeled amp, and DI, and then just kind of kept the DI in case we wanted to like blend with a different amp or reamp it later, or if it needed something different. But I remember with guitars and stuff as well, it was like 3 different Marshalls. We had like a Marshall sim on the computer, a Marshall sim on the Kemper, and a real JCM 800. We were like, yeah, somewhere in this ballpark. Probably sounds about right.
And I can't seem to make it.
Yeah, I think he definitely had like his not template, but like just way of doing things, like his system, which just made everything so efficient. Like I feel like I remember us sitting there sometimes and like playing guitars and starting to think about tones, and we'd just be playing the part and he's tinkering with a few different things. And just eventually, like within 5 minutes or something, we're like, well, that sounds fucking awesome. Like that's pretty much it. Like
I guess like,
sorted.
that's the most like the biggest word to take away from that is just like efficiency and like efficiency. That's it.
Yeah.
He was just so good at getting good tones and getting things moving and like not letting things get stagnant in the studio.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is really important, I think.
I think that's what kind of like separates the professionals from the amateurs in so much of producing as well, as like that efficiency. And also as a band, it's like it's draining to kind of sit there and get like, you know, having to make too many choices or having to like sit and think about things too much. It's like, if it sounds good, just keep going. You know, like don't sit there and be like, yeah, but it could be better.
Yeah, like don't chase
tweaking
tones.
and tweaking.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we'd probably spend ages just like worrying about everything.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, that's it. We got it. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Like, the perfect tone doesn't exist, I guess. It's just kind of like make it fit, make it sound good to you. That's it.
Yeah.
Move on. Like,
and if it's really wrong later, that's when you can kind of you know, reassess. And that's why you keep the DI and stuff, so that like if you do need to reamp it and go about things that way, you can.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was just a professional, which is so nice. Like, it's so good to have that guiding force above you being like, we can make you not shit.
As many takes as you need. We'll get there.
When I start to say how I've been lost and drowning,
I think Home is the first one that pops up in my head. Just in the sense there's so much like layering in that song, and like it's a very basic song chordally. Like so yeah, it's all just kind of layers upon layers to get that atmosphere right.
Yeah, I think it was the more, I guess,
It's like a simple
complicated
song.
arranged songs. that-
Simple yet complicated.
Yeah, as in like it's songs like Home, and like the other one that sticks out to me was Aside Again.
Yeah.
In the way that like there's a lot going on, but it's relatively subtle, and it only really came alive and started to sound amazing or interesting as a song after it had been mixed, even, or like you know, once you kind of get the dynamics in almost like, I don't want to say in a fake way, but you know, like artificially through like automation and stuff to like duck things and like keep things out of the way of each other. Whereas like, for example, on this tour, like we wanted to play Home, and like we only had a small amount of time to like get prepped and stuff to play for this tour. And one of the ones we really wanted to play was Home, but when we got in the room and started playing it, we were like, shit, this needs so much more consideration to be able to like get that same level of dynamics and like, I don't know, just like interest to the song, which is a bit more difficult to do live when you can't just, you know, twiddle a few
Have
knobs.
HORSCROFT there.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
yeah.
I think as well, like recording is like just trusting the process, because it's not going to sound good like at the start. It's like if you're sketching in to paint something later, and it's like, it looks like shit now, but just like, trust me, once it's rendered, once we've got all those little bits finished, like that's when it will sing. So yeah, there's a lot of, it's quite scary to be like, just, you know that it's going to be okay and you can still work on it sort of thing, because like mastering, mixing, that changes it completely.
Yeah.
You're like, wow. So
yeah. And I guess that's like, maybe we've like diverted a bit from the question in terms of like hardest to capture, because I don't know, I think like just generally our music is quite like straight to the point and like a bit no frills, in the way that it's never really that difficult to capture, in terms of like, it's just a guitar and it's like just pretty like, you know, dry vocals and that kind of stuff. It's nothing too flashy. So I guess the only hard ones really was like maybe like the end of Here to Stay, because it was so high to sing. That was pretty difficult to capture, because I was like squealing. But no, besides that, like I think it's all, we kind of got in a nice groove and it was just coming along pretty coherently.
let me drift away. If one day we'll be better off that way.
Crisp beer.
Chris Ale. Crisp.
I don't know. I was the opposite. I'd definitely like stretch every morning before recording and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like stretching
warm-ups
and
stuff. And
just like meditating as well, just to try and be like calm.
Yeah.
But I think it's the waiting that's the worst part. Like once you're in there sitting down, like for me on drums, once I'm getting there, it's like probably so preoccupied with everything that I'm doing that you don't have time to think or be anxious. But a lot of it is like knowing the song well enough beforehand that you don't have to analyze what you're playing when you're playing it. It's like you already know what you need to do that way, so you don't have to think, and then you can just like feel the moment and get into that headspace.
I think that's the biggest thing, is like capturing a good performance comes down to like your emotional state at the time.
Yeah.
And like I think as well, that's probably why I guess I take a bit of consideration in it with vocals, especially, is like I think it's just a lot more apparent, obviously, like if someone's not feeling it when they're singing, like you hear a voice and you can tell.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of it for me as well was like, you know, drink a tea and that kind of stuff beforehand and like warm up your voice and stuff. But then also what we did with Scott was like, he would like kind of turn all the lights down and like make it really calm and ambient in the room. And like the guys wouldn't necessarily be in like the vocal booth either. It would tend to just be kind of like me in the vocal booth and Scott on the desk. And that was it really. And I think we would always do a pass first and foremost of low vocals, like the low octave, because sometimes that's just good to have and stuff like that to like blend into the mix of the vocals. But at the same time, it kind of just gives you a chance to like sing through the song, have heard all the lyrics again, and kind of like get in the headspace of what the song's about and what the lyrics mean to you and stuff. And then once you jump into doing takes, you kind of, I think, emotionally and mentally there a bit more than if you were to just come in dry and like, you know, walk in, do your takes and then leave, you know?
Yeah. Did you guys have any little rituals?
I just smoked a lot of cigarettes.
Satanic rituals or anything?
Kind of just stress myself out, sweat a lot, and smoke cigarettes. It's kind of my vibe.
Again, it's that triangle, it's the balance.
Lofty.
Subtle.
Awesome.
Cruisy.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Tom Cruisey, baby.
Tom Cruisey. Right on, dudes. Thanks.
Thanks, man.
Bloody amazing.